The May 18th, 2026 Auburn City Council workshop will be called to order. The first item is an executive session pursuant to 1 MRSA Section 405, Sub 6F, for discussion of a poverty abatement case where the information contained in the records made, maintained, or received by a body or agency is confidential by statute. Is there a motion?
Motion to move.
Moved by Councilor Walker,
Second.
seconded by Councilor Duval. Vote will be by show of hands. All those in favor? Council will be in executive session. So the council's back in session. The next items in the workshop are also executive sessions. There'll be 2 executive sessions pursuant to 1 MRSA, Section 405, 6D, for labor contract negotiations regarding public works, and then regarding the MSEA labor union. Is there a motion?
Motion to move.
Moved by Counsel Walker. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Counsel Cowan. All those in favor? The council will be in executive session. Right? The May 18th, 2026 Auburn City Council meeting will be called to order. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. If we could have the councilors introduce themselves, starting with Councilor Geary.
Good evening, Belinda Gary, Auburn City Councilor at Large.
Good evening, Rachel Randall, Ward 1.
Good evening, Tim Cowan, Councilor for Ward 2.
Good evening, Matthew Duval, Councilor, Ward 3.
Good evening, Jeff Harmon, Mayor.
Good evening, Kelly Butler, Counselor for Ward 4.
Good evening, Leroy Walker, Councilor, Ward 5.
Good evening, Adam Platt, City Councilor at Large.
Good evening, Brennan Edwards, Student Representative.
And Phil Kroll, City Manager.
Thank you. The first item on tonight's agenda is the consent agenda. There's one item, appointments to the Casco Bay Trail Board of Supervisors. Is there a motion?
Motion to move.
Moved by
Second.
Councilor Walker, seconded by Councilor Cowan. Vote will be by show of hands. All those in favor? 7 having voted in the affirmative and none in the negative, the motion is adopted. The next item is the approval of the minutes of the May 4th, 2026 regular City Council meeting. Are there any errors or corrections? Councilor Duval.
Yeah, item 3 under new business, the vote tally is 5-0 and it should be 5-2.
Any other errors or corrections? Is there a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
Motion to approve.
Moved by Councilor Walker.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Cowan. Vote will be by show of hands. All those in favor? 7 having voted in the affirmative and none in the negative, the motion is adopted. The next item is communications, presentations, and recognition. From the city clerk reminding residents that June 9th will be the Maine primary and the Auburn school budget validation referendum. Absentee ballots are currently available at City Hall and will be available through Thursday, June 4th. And on June 9th, all polling places will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. The next item is the National Public Works Week proclamation. I'll read the proclamation. Whereas our public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are vitally important to our community. And whereas these dedicated professionals rebuild, maintain, and protect our transportation systems, natural resources, parks, fields, cemeteries, public buildings, roadways, and other vital community assets. And whereas it is important for Auburn residents, civic leaders, businesses, and youth to understand and appreciate the critical role public works plays in our everyday lives. And whereas the Auburn Public Works Department remains Maine's first and only nationally accredited public works agency, upholding the highest standards of professional excellence. And whereas the Auburn Public Works Department's highly trained and committed team consistently meets or exceeds best practices while serving our community with pride. And whereas National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association, celebrates the essential contributions of these professionals. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Jeffrey D. Harmon, do hereby proclaim May 17th to 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Week in the City of Auburn. I encourage all residents to join in recognizing and thanking our Public Works team for their dedication to protecting public health and safety and improving the quality of life for us all. The next item is the monthly program grant update. I don't see Ms. Boss here, Mr. Manager.
She's tasked that to me, so I'll take care of that. So hopefully this report has been helpful for you, council, as you take a look at all the different grants that we currently have either awarded or applied for, or now that we're reporting out on as a result of receiving the award. It says on the worksheet, it says monthly, but we'll put this out at least quarterly. because not a lot changes every month. But when there is something significant, then we'll definitely give an update so that you know of an application that has been submitted, and we might be waiting for a response. But hopefully this document's helpful, and we'll continue providing you regular updates.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to the first open session of the evening. If there's any items that the members of the public would like to address with the council, please approach the podium and provide your name and address.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Gary Tatro. I live on Hazel Street in Auburn. And I had a question about a piece of land 12 foot wide on Hazel Street in Auburn that a spring runs through. I wanted to know who owned it. I called Eric Cousins, and he sent me a tax map. He says, that's all I have, and this is how we determine who owns the property. Well, in reading the deed for 9 Hazel Street, if anybody in the tax office ever bothered to read it, there's 12 foot of land there that they have the use of, but they don't own it. That has to be where the spring goes through. That's my complaint. There's also a right-of-way at 11 Hazel Street. If you look at their driveway and it goes up and you look in the back, and their garage is built to one side. That's because it's deeded, well, not deeded, it's in the Androscoggin County building that is a right-of-way. It also goes down through, I want to get the right address, (12) Hazel Street. If you're facing that building on the right-hand side, is a right-of-way. When I was a kid, of course, those garages are gone now, but on the right-hand side is where his garages used to be. He couldn't put it in the right-of-way. And who pays? In a right-of-way, there's no tax. I mean, the Hazel Street, Western Avenue, Minot Avenue, all the streets and avenues in the city of Auburn are rights-of-way. So why would anybody in a tax map pay taxes on a right-of-way? This is all rhetorical. You guys can make up your mind on that as you wish. There's one other thing that I had a little bit of a problem with. I was driving with my wife, and I was headed to the library in Auburn, and I was coming up to this light, and it just turned yellow, and I may have been 20 feet from it. And I wasn't going that fast, and I was making a left-hand turn, so I made my left-hand turn, and all of a sudden, I get this blue light in back of me, pulling me over. He said, do you know you went through a red light, not a red light, but a yellow light? Yeah. Well, I never thought it was illegal to go through a yellow light, but then I made a comment to the police officer. I said, if you were going to stop people, let's get to some of these ones where they just run through a red light, because it happens to me all the time, especially on 4-lanes highways, where you have a light, you stop, and they go right by you, just like the light hasn't changed. And that's another thing that we don't seem to want to address. We did years ago when we sent out all these letters to people that were going through red lights, and then for some reason somebody made a decision, well, we're harassing the public. We shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be making them pay tickets for going through red lights. You know, if we want to make people understand what rules are for, you're going to have stuff like people not having respect for the law. And then they're going to think, again, a second time before they do something else like that, something even worse than going through a red light. So we don't have a whole lot of respect, from what I can see, for the law when it comes to the rules of the road. If you go out Washington Avenue headed towards the Maine Turnpike, that's more like Oxford Plains Speedway. See who can get ahead of who and get up to the turnpike. I can remember, and this has happened a couple of times, where they have put up cement barricades and brought it down to one lane. Well, you should have seen the traffic slow down. it just makes me wonder if some of these engineers that we keep talking about, thinking about what's going on, why don't they have a meeting with people that know what's going on? Of course, they know what's going on, the solutions to those kinds of things. Thanks for listening to me. Have a great day.
Thank you very much. Is there any other member of the public who'd like to address the council? If so, please approach the podium and provide your name and address. Not seeing any, the open session is closed. We'll move on to unfinished business. The first item is Order 4105042026, authorizing the city's general obligation bonds in the principal amount not to exceed $11,200,000 to reconfigure the Auburn Middle School to construct an addition and other renovations and improvements to accommodate grade 6 classrooms and other education space. This will be for a second reading. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Platts. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Cowan. Does any member of the public who'd like to address the council on this item, please approach the podium and provide your name and address. Not seeing any, public comment will be closed. Discussion by the council. Is council ready for the question? The vote will be by roll call. The clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Cowan?
Yes.
Counselor Duvall?
Yes.
Counselor Butler?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
No.
Counselor Platts?
Yes.
Counselor Gary?
No.
Counselor Randall?
Yes.
5 having voted in the affirmative and 2 in the negative, the motion is adopted. The next item is Order 4205042026, authorizing the city's general obligation bonds in the amount of $11,776,000 to finance the city's FY27 capital improvement plan. This will be for second reading. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Council Platts. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Cowan. Is any member of the public who'd like to address the council on this item, please approach the podium and provide your name and address. Not seeing any, public comment is closed. Discussion by the council. The council ready for the question? Vote will be by roll call. The clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Duvall?
Yes.
Counselor Butler?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
No.
Counselor Platts?
Yes.
Counselor Gary?
No.
Counselor Randall?
Yes.
Counselor Cowan?
Yes.
5 having voted in the affirmative and 2 in the negative, the motion is adopted. The next item is Resolve 0205042026, adopting the 2026-2027 appropriations resolve for the municipal budget. As a reminder to members of the public, this is the combined budget, both the city side and the school budget previously presented by the school committee and approved by the council. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Platts. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Duvall. Is any member of the public that would like to address the council on this item, please approach the podium and provide your name and address. Not seeing any, public comment is closed. Discussion by the council. Is council ready for the question? Clerk, the vote will be by roll call. The clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Butler?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
No.
Counselor Platts?
Yes.
Counselor Gary?
No.
Counselor Randall?
Yes.
Counselor Cowan?
Yes.
Counselor Duvall?
Yes.
5 having voted in the affirmative and 2 in the negative, the motion is adopted. We'll move on to new business. The first item is Ordinance 0905182026, amending Chapter 52, Traffic and Vehicles of the City's Code of Ordinances regarding parking changes respective to solid waste collection. I would note for the council and members of the public that what was previously discussed by the council, there was noted 2 non-substantive clerical errors in the document. Those have been corrected in the packet that was circulated for the council. This will be for first reading. Is there a motion?
So moved as amended.
It's moved by Councilor Cowan. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Butler. Does any member of the public who'd like to address the council on this item, please approach the podium and provide your name and address. Not seeing any, public comment is closed. Discussion by the council. Council Platt.
Yeah, just a quick question. So with some of these additional closures, you know, seeing 6 p.m. to 6 p.m., is that a time frame that we've utilized before with other closures around the city? Or is that a new mechanism here for clearing the roads?
Mr. Dute?
It's associated with the solid waste schedule that they're allowed to put out at 6 p.m. the night before, so it lines up with that. It's new.
Yeah, I guess
for
to
this.
clarify, have we done this before? Have we told people that they can't park on a street for a 12-hour period of time, other than the permanent, you know, can't park here?
Yeah, I think temporary. So this is just aligning with the ordinance of when you would put your trash out. So it's consistent that way. But, so yeah, there'll be some education that'll need to take place.
I was just trying to gauge how much of a shock this might be for those affected.
Other comments by the council? The council ready for the question? The vote will be by roll call. The clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Walker,
No.
Counselor Platts,
Yes.
Counselor Gary,
No.
Counselor Randall,
No.
Counselor Cowan,
Yes.
Counselor Duvall,
Yes.
Counselor Butler. Yes.
4 having voted in the affirmative and 3 in the negative, the motion is adopted. The next item is ordinance 1005182026, amending Chapter 44, Solid Waste of the city's Code of Ordinances related to solid waste collection services. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Duvall. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Cowan. Is any member of the public who'd like to address the council on this item, please approach the podium and provide your name and address. Not seeing any, public comment is closed. Discussion by the council. Is council ready for the question? The vote will be by roll call. The clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Platts,
Yes.
Counselor Gary,
No.
Counselor Randall,
No.
Counselor Cowan,
Yes.
Counselor Duvall,
Yes.
Counselor Butler. Yes. Counselor Walker.
No.
4 having voted in the affirmative and 3 in the negative, the motion is adopted. The next item is Order 4905182026, waiving the $60 temporary food license fee for the Age-Friendly Community Committee to hold concessions during the community concerts, events, and Festival Plaza. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Gary. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Walker. Is any member of the public who'd like to address the council on this item, please approach the podium and provide your name and address. Not seeing any, public comment will be closed. Discussion by the council. Council ready for the question? Vote will be by show of hands. All those in favor? Opposed? 7 having voted in the affirmative and none in the negative, the motion is adopted. The next item is Order 5005182026, approving poverty abatement case PA 2026001. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
That was Councilor Randall. Moved by Councilor Randall, seconded by Councilor Walker. The vote will be by show of hands. All those in favor? 7 having voted in the affirmative and none in the negative, the motion is adopted. The next item is Order 5105182026, regarding a real estate purchase at the intersection of Hotel and Marrow Road. For clarification for the public, this is related to the rebuild of Marrow Road. This is the land for the right-hand turn lane from Marrow Road onto Hotel Road. There is no additional budgetary impact for this. This is an in-kind transaction between the owner of the property and the construction and the project. Is there a motion?
Motion to move.
Moved by Councilor Walker. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Cowan. Does any member of the public who'd like to address the council on this item, please approach the podium and provide your name and address. Not seeing any. Public comments closed. Discussion by the council. Council ready for the question? Vote will be by show of hands. All those in favor? 7 having voted in the affirmative and none in the negative, the motion is adopted. We'll move on to reports. The first item I wanted to mention is the very successful Lobster Festival this weekend. The staff did an excellent scheduling job. It was sunny, warm, and the falls were flowing quite rapidly. It's a great job, as always, by the community engagement team planning the festival with a lot of help from Public Works, fire, and police. So a job well done. I was down there for a couple hours. It was a pretty sizable crowd, and it seemed like everyone was having a really great time. Reminders for those that are interested in the comprehensive planning process, there will be comp plan meetings this month on May 19th and on May 26th. They're both at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers. Over the next 2 meetings, the comp plan committee will be working to finalize the land use characteristic districts and the policy issues in the various content chapters. And then just a scheduling update, looking forward now that we've completed the budget, we'll be back to working on policy issues. The council should expect the draft ordinance for the syringe service program in workshop on June 1st, and the draft ordinance related to mobile home parks in workshop on June 15th. That's all I have. Councilor Gary?
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Randall?
Nothing, thank you.
Councilor Cowan?
We have a homelessness committee meeting tomorrow from 9:30 to 11. If anyone's interested, it's at 121 Mill Street. So, thanks.
Councilor Duvall?
Nothing at this time, thanks.
Thank you. Councilor Butler?
Nothing at this time.
Thanks. Councilor Walker?
Nothing today.
Councilor Platt?
School committee meeting at 6 p.m. on Wednesday. That's all I've got.
Representative Edwards?
This is the last week of school for seniors. There's 4 days left. Graduation on May 30th. Community Service Day was super successful. EL kids got to give back, and spring sports are still going.
Great. Thank you. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. Just one follow-up on the Lobster Festival. You'll be getting a report from the Communications and Engagement Committee, Department rather, soon. We know that we probably averaged about 2,000 in attendance, but we'll get some information from our vendors as well as data that we track on where people came from, whether they came from outside the community or not. So we'll get that report to you soon. That's all.
Thank you. We'll move on to the second open session of the evening. If there's any member of the public who would like to address the council on items not on tonight's agenda, please approach the podium and provide your name and address. Not seeing any, the open session is closed. There are no executive sessions this evening. They were handled earlier in the workshop. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Moved by Councilor Walker. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Randall. All those in favor? The council is adjourned.